Good morning, Jimmy. How are you?
Hey Bob, morning to you.
Sorry about some of the technical difficulties. We get through that once in a while. Learning to be flexible and kind of moving things in and out, you got to get things done, right? So,
Totally, you have to
we're
prevail.
there. We're there. So, we're now progressing through this month of April and through this pandemic and all of the things that are going on and the changes being made. And actually, I'll give you a little warning. Later on today, sometime, I'm not sure of what time, I'm going to go live and talk about the things that I've observed during the pandemic over the last couple of months and maybe some of the good things that are going to come out of this. And I'm going to try to focus on that and not try, I will focus on that because there's a lot of incredible things that are taking place and some changes that I've observed in the world and just throw that out there. I mean, I think everybody should voice their thought. Here's one of the things that I'm going to talk about too is I'm tired of people's names that have a D or an R next to them. And I'm talking about politicians. They're either, we judge them by having a D or an R next to them. The only thing in our country that they should have next to them is an A for American. Everything else shouldn't be judged by that, and I want to get rid of those little small little letters that determine who somebody is. We should take people's ideas based on their ideas and not based on if they have an R or a D next to their name. So that's enough. Okay, we're not going any further than that. That's kind of where I'm coming from on that. So
I hear you.
great. So let's talk about we start this journey today with the 22nd principle of being a leader. And man, that is a term that is thrown around so like just we just throw that word out there like a leader. Just in it has so many different meanings to it. What does it mean to you, Jimmy?
Being a leader, it's to me, it's setting a good example. You have to want to be a leader. You have to want to take charge. You want to see results in people, seeing results in people, conveying your message to people, and making the world or your workplace or your family or your home a better place to live. I mean, who wouldn't want that?
True, true. Leadership is an incredible thing, and we tend to push it off onto other people. I think naturally we I hear that term. They were a born leader. No, they weren't a born leader. Something happened in those first 5, 10 years of their lives, or something event over there, that brought that out of them. We all got it in us. We just have to find somebody that can help tap into it to bring it to the surface. So it'll be fun. So this principle is to begin with praise and honest appreciation. And during the class, we always have that one time when we say, what is the one principle out of these nine that we're going to go through over the next 9 days? What is the one that could have the biggest impact on your team or your business, your community? And that one gets voted many, many, many times in the classes. To begin with praise and honest appreciation. Why do you think that is?
It probably has something to do with the fact that it's the first one. When you're trying to get through to a person, um, you know, the best way to do it is to, kind of soften the blow of the conversation. So begin with praise is the best way to do it. That way, they'll be more apt to buy into what you're saying,
Yeah.
and more apt to follow you as a leader.
It's funny, some of the things
Hey,
Did we,
Bob.
hey, did we lose? I lost a connection, I guess,
Yes.
but we're still live on Facebook. So we'll just keep going. All right.
Okay.
So tell me your story about that principle.
Sure. Last summer, I went out to LA to caddy at LA Country Club. And one of the guys I met out there, worked out there with, one of the other caddies, his name was Jay.
Mm-hmm.
Jay and I had a lot in common. One being we're both from the East Coast, and two, he had a golf pro background. Now, I remember one day walking into the caddy yard, and Jay was sitting there with his head down. And I felt bad. He looked very discouraged and down. So I said, Jay, what's on your mind? And he said, Jimmy, I haven't worked in 3 days. And for whatever reason, Ozzy hasn't called me up there. And the members here aren't requesting me to caddy for them. And I think it's because I don't know how to start conversations with people. I don't know what to say when we first start and we meet. So I said, well, what do you normally ask them? And he said, well, I normally ask them how long they've been a member here. And I said, okay. I said, Jay, you got to know one thing. You are one of the nicest people around, and you're a very genuine individual, and people appreciate that. You also have a golf pro background. So when these members learn that about you through conversation, they'll be more apt to listen to your advice out there as a golf pro, because everybody wants to be around a nice golf pro when they're playing golf. And he said, yeah, but how do I start conversation? I said, try this. In Dale Carnegie, we call it the conversation link. What's your name? Where are you from? Where do you live now? Tell me about your family. I have a book, a Dale Carnegie book that I could let you borrow. You could check it out and apply it out there. Take a chance. Sure enough, he went out there, achieved great results, inquired about taking Dale Carnegie courses, and it made me very, very happy. So when we begin with praise and honest appreciation, the benefit we get from that is buy-in.
That is a great story. I love that. It tells me so much about you too, Jimmy. You have been that individual that, when you live that intentional life, you don't have to think about that just rolls off your tongue and you just do it. Somebody once said to me that we talk about incident action benefit as this magic formula of when we talk with somebody. And somebody had mentioned to me that our life is just a series of incidents, and you're able to pluck any one of those incidents out and use it. And I'm sure you have many more stories like that, which is really cool. And I'm sure that helped that gentleman very much also.
Oh, immensely.
Because we all have the insecurities in some areas. I mean, here's a golf pro and everything else, and all of a sudden, you start doubting yourself because you don't have the magic key that opens up the door of that relationship building. And yet, you've tried a ton of different things and you start doubting yourself. And when you start doubting yourself, doubt grows like, just insidious weeds. They just grow through you, and at pretty soon it's overwhelming. It's like if you don't cut your lawn in Georgia for a couple of weeks, it just grows into
Haywire.
crazy stuff. And that's what doubt does to us. It just chokes off anything that we have as far as hope and drive and everything else. It starts sucking that out of us. And when you can share with somebody just one little idea, that magic key that turns the door, and they can go, wow, man, that was so simple, but why didn't I see that? Don't worry about why you didn't see it. We can't go backwards. Let's go forward, So I love that. I appreciate you sharing that with us.
You're welcome.
So I look forward to it. And yes, I'm not sure when I'm going to go live later on, but if you get a chance, check it out. Be in the gallery. It should be fun.
I'm looking forward to it. Definitely going to tune in.
Well, Jimmy, you have yourself a marvelous day. I appreciate you being here with us, taking your time to share some of these principles with us. People have got to know you a little bit more, and maybe one of these days when we're on here, I'll just say, tell us about Jimmy Casello. Tell us about your path from when you were in college until where you are now. That would be fun for people to hear because I've heard it a couple of times. It's an awesome story. So enjoy your day, Jimmy.
Thanks, Bob. Enjoy your day.
Peace.